Hey, it's Ashley, and I'm back with another mentoring moment. And today I'm going to talk about what 80s babies need to know to advance their careers. I am an 80s baby, and I serve lots of women who were born in the 80s, in the 70s and 80s. And I love talking to women about generational career development, right? The world of career development, the world of what it means, the world of work, what it means to make more money and have more impact in your career changes over time. It changes, over the decades, right? And it's so critically important that when you're thinking about growing your career, that you're thinking about advancing your career, when you're thinking about, next steps in your career, your ability to make more money and have more impact in your career. When you're thinking about that, you also, of course, have to think about age, right? We do not live in a world where age doesn't matter. Age is not nothing but a number. Like, age really matters. Where we are in our lives really matters. And, the truth is that 80s babies have seen a lot, right? Like, 80s babies have been through, have endured, have survived a lot. And the way that we look at work, the way that we think about work, what's important to us about work right now is different than what's important to people born in the 60s and people born in the 70s and even people who were born in the 90s and the 2000s, right? The way that we look at work, the things that matter to us about work, the ways that, we earn raises, promotions, the ways that we transition industries, it's different than any other generation. And so I really wanted to come on live and talk about, what 80s babies, right? What women who were born between 1980 and 1989, what these women need to know about advancing their careers, about what it means to make more money and have more impact at work, what it means to ask for a raise at work, how to know when it's time to go and leave an employer behind, how to transition from one industry to another without having to go back to school and get another degree and get another certificate and all of that. Like, I really want to talk about what that looks like. And so I've taken a lot of notes to prepare for today's conversation. And I'm just excited to dive in with you all around what the world of work looks like for high achieving professional women born in the 80s and what these same women need to be doing to make more money and have more impact in their careers. So if that sounds like a conversation you're excited to be a part of, just throw some hearts up on the screen, press a little heart button on the side. That'll let me know that you're plugged in, that you're excited for this conversation and you're ready to talk about what us 80s babies need to know about advancing our careers. So, I will start by just sharing that, I serve women of all ages, right? Like, I have mentees in my program who are in their early 20s up to mentees in my program who are in their 70s, right? It's never too soon or never too late to, advance your career, to make more money, to have more impact. And so if you're not an 80s baby, if you're like, well, Ashley, I was born in 1998, but I still want to be a part of this conversation. Or if you're like, Ashley, listen, I was born in 1976, but I also think that this conversation, is for me. It doesn't matter. I'm here to serve all women, but I'm an 80s baby, and I know women in my generation, right? Women who were born between, who were, somewhere around the ages of what's that, 35, 30, or, early 30s, 32, 33, up to women who are 42, going to be 42 this year. Those women that are in that, 32 to 42 year range, those women right now are often very much pressed about their career, right? And let me know if you're an 80s baby. If you're an 80s baby, just type 80s baby in the chat. I just want to make sure that, I'm in the room with like-minded people. If you're watching on replay, type 80s baby on this post, because I want to make sure that, I'm talking to the people, talking to who I'm supposed to be talking to here. So, for 80s babies, we're in between that age. We're in that age where, we've gone to school, we've earned our, bachelor's degree. Maybe we've gone on to earn a master's degree. We have, somewhere between 5, 7, 10 years, plus of working experience, right? We're not novices. We're not new to industry. Maybe we've been working in a field for the last 10 years. So since, we graduated from college, or maybe we've hopped around between a couple of different industries, but women who are born in the 80s, women who are 80s babies, they often have degrees. They often have credentials. I read a statistic that there are more Black women earning degrees. Black women are out earning degrees than anyone else, right? Any other race or gender demographic. So Black women are out earning degrees more than anybody, right? And so that's a big deal. That's a major milestone. And Black women are highly educated. 80s babies are, at points in their career where they're buying houses, where they're, wanting to make more money at work, where they're wanting to move out of that, early, career stage, those coordinator level roles, those assistant director roles. They're wanting to move into those director level roles. They're wanting to move into those AVP level roles. They're wanting to move into those managing director roles. Women who were born in the 80s are like, listen, at this point, I need to be making six figures. Like, I can't afford to make $50,000-$60,000 anymore. Like, I need to make more money. I need to earn more. Like, women who are in 80s babies, a lot of us are getting married now. A lot of us are having children now, starting families. I know a lot of my girlfriends who are, born in the 80s are caring for aging parents, right? So their parents are baby boomers. Their parents are getting older. Their parents need more support. Maybe they've had to move back home to take care of a parent. Maybe, they are helping out with nieces and nephews and their friends' children. Like, there's a lot going on for women who were born in the 80s and trying to advance their career, right? And Afi Love said, I know that's right? It's true that so many high achieving professional women who are born in the 80s have all of these kind of life things happening, wanting to make more money, like wanting to see higher level roles at work, wanting more authority at work, like, tired of being kind of overworked and underpaid. They want more authority. They want people to respect them. They actually want to be, instead of just doing the work and, being a widget, a cog in the wheel, women who were born in the 80s are like, no, I need to be managing here. I need to be leading in this organization. I need to be providing strategic vision in this organization. I don't want to just be, plugging in and doing work and answering emails and doing paperwork. At this stage in my career, I'm trying to actually make moves. I'm actually trying to make more money, and I'm actually trying to really be an authority in this industry, right? And I'm seeing some yeses, right? And I know that's right on the screen, so I know that this is resonating with you. And so one of the things that I've seen from women born in the 80s, like from those 80s babies, is that I think that the sort of old and outdated strategies that our parents and our older mentors have taught us, they just don't work for us anymore in today's marketplace, right? So that whole, get a good job and work there for 30 years, that don't work for 80s babies. That whole, but just put your head down and do the work and wait till somebody recognize you, that don't work for 80s babies. Oh, you got to work here for 5 years, 10 years and pay your dues to get a raise or a promotion, that don't work for 80s babies, right? Like, no more are we just complacent with working in jobs for 5, 10, and 15 years and not being satisfied. No more are we like, well, let me just wait and see what happens. No more can 80s babies be stuck in that mentality. That mentality might have worked in the 60s. It might have worked in the 70s, for our parents' generation, but that does not work in today's marketplace. We have to aggressively go after what we desire in our career and strategically position ourselves as experts in the marketplace to make more money and have more impact and to see those six-figure salaries that we desire at this stage in our career. We can simply not afford to be, waiting around and seeing what happened and waiting on an annual raise and letting inflation eat up our entire salary every month and not make more money and have more impact. We can't afford that, right? I mean, hell, by the time it's time for us to retire, Social Security probably gonna be burnt up. So listen, we gotta have our own plan for retirement, and that means making more money now so you can save more for retirement. Because if you're waiting on the Social Security check, listen, those folks who was born in the 50s, 60s, in the early 70s, they gonna be ate that up. I don't know if Social Security gonna be around for the 80s babies, flat out. So I think we need to have another plan for our retirement. We need to have another plan, for taking care of our parents, our aging parents. We need to have another plan, because some of the government assistance programs, Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare, those programs may not be around when we need them. When we age into them, they may not still be a part of, Department for housing and home development, family, like those systems, those processes, they may not be around anymore, particularly given some of the things that's going on in the federal government. So we need to have our own plan, 80s babies. We need to have our own plan for making more money and having more impact. And one of the things that I love about my approach to mentorship is that I am very intentional about studying the job market and providing my mentees with strategic and purposeful strategies to make more money and have more impact, right? I'm an 80s baby. I have more than 15 years of experience in corporate, nonprofit, and educational leadership. I have a PhD in educational leadership. So I know how to teach and train high achieving professional women around how to make more money and have more impact. I'm credentialed in that space, but I also have worked across many different industries, and I know the contemporary strategies it takes for 80s babies to make more money and have more impact, right? Our generation, our 80 babies, shout out to us. We are some of the most educated. We're one of the most educated generations of our time, right? The babies who came out of the 60s and 70s and these, 90s babies, they are not as educated as us. They do not have as many degrees or credentials or certifications. But the problem is that us 80 babies haven't really learned how to leverage all of these degrees, credentials, and certifications. And a lot of us are drowning in debt over these degrees, certifications, and trainings. And so what we need to do is finally learn how to leverage these degrees, these credentials, these certifications, so that they don't go to waste and so that we can actually use them to make more money and have more impact. Right? So that's strategy number one. 80s babies, we are the most highly educated generation of our time. 80s babies have more degrees, more credentials, more certifications, more training. We got the Google Learning, LinkedIn Learning, Cisco certification. Us 80s babies are more educated than anyone. We have more degrees, more credentials, and more debt to prove it than any generation ever. So my question is, how can we leverage all of this education, all of this knowledge to actually have a greater impact in industry and use those degrees, those certifications, those trainings to see a minimum of a $25,000 salary increase over the next 2 months, right? And that's what my role is as a mentor. My job as a mentor is to help high achieving professional women make more money and have more impact using the skills, the knowledge, the talent, and the expertise that they already have. And what I know that's true about 80s babies is that y'all, and I shouldn't say y'all, we, right, have more credentials than anybody, right? Nobody has out-earned us in degrees, credentials, certifications. We will take a training course in a moment. And I love that about us. I love that we're, committed to lifelong learning. I love that, we navigated the digital age, right? When we first were babies, cassette tapes were all the rage. Then there were CDs, and now there are digital downloads and the cloud, right? Nobody had to go through more technological changes than us. So of course we have continuously okay, I need to learn this new thing. I need to learn how to do this. I need to learn how to do this. But how are we leveraging that learning to see massive growth in our salaries? That's what my job is as a mentor. That's what I'm here to help you do. And in my doing that, what I do in my Mentor Me Accelerator is to take all of the skills, credentials, training, expert, knowledge that you have and actually use that to see those significant salary increases. Right? And if that sounds like what you're looking for, if you're like, yes, Ashley, I'm an 80s baby. I have all these degrees, all these certifications, all these student loans to prove it, but I am not well positioned in the marketplace. I'm not making enough money. If that sounds like you, I invite you to go to my website at mentor-me.org. That's mentor, mentor-me.org, and apply to work with me today. You can click on the button that says, let me mentor you. And that's a great way for us to start our relationship so that we can get you started on learning how to leverage the skills, knowledge, and expertise that you already have. So strategy number one, 80s babies, we can no longer let all these degrees, certificates, trainings go to waste, right? No, there is not a generation that's more educated than people born between 1980 and 1989. Right? We got more degrees and credentials than anybody, but we're not the highest paid or highest earning generation. That goes to the girls who were in the 60s, who were born in the 60s. And it's not just because they had more time. It's because we have maybe spent a little too much time learning and not enough time applying, right? And so my job as a mentor is to actually help you learn how to apply the strategy, the knowledge that you have so that you can make more money and have more impact. So again, if that sounds like you, if you're like, yes, Ashley, I have lots of degrees, lots of credentials, lots of certifications, but do not have the salary to match, then you want to apply to work with me. And again, you can do so right on my website at mentor-me.org. So 80s babies, number two, I think that we have certainly, we're more inclined to advocate for ourselves at work. We're more inclined to say, hey, I'm not happy in this job, but we're not always more inclined to leverage the existing skills that we already have to transition industries. So 80s babies, I'm here to tell you that we can no longer follow the strategies of the folks born in the 60s and the 70s and be loyal to these companies and say, well, I'm just going to wait on my boss to promote me, and I'm just going to wait on a raise, an annual review, and I'm just going to wait on this, and I'm just going to wait on that. 80s babies, we cannot wait. We cannot wait. We cannot be sitting around hoping somebody puts us on, hoping someone, sees us. We have to be more proactive in our approach to our career development, right? 80s babies, we have to be more proactive in our approach to our career development, right? We big grown now. Right? We got bills, we got kids, we got mortgages, we got weddings to pay for, trips to go on, waist to shrink. Right? We got stuff to do. We don't have time to be sitting around waiting on someone to put us on. We need a career development strategy that actually is going to yield results. Right? I talked to a new mentee yesterday, and it was so interesting. I didn't ask her age, but I'm pretty sure she's an 80s baby. And she was telling me, she's like, Ashley, you know what? At this point, and I'm sure she is, because she was like, I'm in my mid 30s. And at this point, I don't know if I'm going to get married, right? I don't know if I'm going to be partnered. I don't know if that's, for me. I don't know if that's what God has for me. And at this point, I cannot sit around anymore and wait on a man to come and rescue me. I need to be earning 2-income household by myself. She was like, I would love to be married. I would love to be partnered. I would love to have a 2-income household. But until that time comes, I'm just going to make enough money for it to look like I got a 2-income household. And I need your help with that. And I was like, yes, sis, you are the perfect fit for the Mentor Me Accelerator. Because at this point, y'all, what are we waiting on? We waiting on, the gig economy. We going to keep driving Uber and Lyft and to be a second economy. We can just make more money at work. Flat out, Stacey Lynn said right. At this point, I'm not waiting on nobody to save me. And if a man come along and he make a little money, great. But I need to be able to collect the bag by myself. I can literally not afford to I got to work at Target on the weekends. I got to drive Lyft on the weekends to try to supplement my income. No, we need to be positioned to make more money now. And 80s babies, listen, we have the skills. A lot of 80s babies have 5, 10, 12 years of experience. Y'all got degrees, certificates, we can no longer wait. We have to use what we have to get what we want. And I'm seeing this is resonating. It says, I'll be honest, it was me. It was, listen, you like, it was me. Don't be shamed. Because while you're saying it publicly, a lot of people are saying it undercover. A lot of people want somebody to come and rescue them. Well, as soon as this and as soon as that, and I'm trying to wait till somebody put me on, and my friend told me she know about, girl, listen, you have to save yourself. We have to save ourselves. And at this point, she said, my degrees got degrees. I'm dead. At this point, we can no longer wait, until we finish school. We can no longer wait until the economy gets better or COVID is over. We can no longer wait until our partner, fulfill their dreams and whatever. At this point, we have to use what we have to get what we want. And the truth is, 80s babies, the truth is that the degrees, the credentials, the certifications, the knowledge, the training, the expertise, the time and organization, you have that. You have that, but what you don't have is a career development roadmap that's going to teach you how to use that to make more money and have more impact. to teach you how to use that to position yourself at a higher level of leadership. And that's what I do as a mentor. My job as a mentor is to comb through your background from 1980 to 2022, or from 1983 to 2022, or from 1987 to 2022. Together, we're going to work through everything that you've done in your life and in your career up to this point, and we're going to leverage all of that to help you secure a minimum of a $25,000 salary increase. And, I think that, that like, well, so-and-so knows somebody up there, and, somebody said that they can get me in. And so, like, that's a strategy for the girls who was born in the 60s. Yeah, I know somebody, that's a 60s strategy. Somebody gonna put me on, that's a strategy for the girls who were born in the 70s. But us 80s babies, we know better. We know that we have to get it for ourselves. We know that we can't just rely on, well, I got a degree. So do everybody else in our generation. Well, I went back to school. So did everybody else in our generation. Well, I've been working here for years. So did everybody else in our generation. We can no longer rely on these outdated strategies for career advancement. We have to have a real strategic plan to make more money and have more impact. And as a mentor, my job is to help you build and take action on that plan so that you can see results. And the final strategy, right, 80s babies, the final strategy that I wanted to share is around what I like to call running the tape, right? So like I said earlier, like 80s babies, we were the generation that went from cassette tapes to CDs, and now the girls are in digital download, right? Like we, now to listen to a song, nobody got to go to the store, right? Like we can just open our phones, open the music app, Spotify, Apple Play, whatever, Google Music, whatever you use, and press play. We don't even have to pay for it at this point. Like the music access is free. But a lot of times, 80s babies, I think that we've kind of went about our career kind of like haphazardly. We went to school, we got an initial job, and we're kind of like, okay, well, I got this job. And then we said, oh, I'm only going to be here for a year. I'm only going to be in this job for a year. And then it turned into 3 years, and then 5 years, and then 10 years. And it's like, oh my God, I'm still here, right? Or we took some job because we were desperate, right? We've been desperate hopping. We've been trauma jumping, what I like to call trauma jumping. So we got an initial job. We, hopped into a new job. Finally somebody else hired me, right? And so we trauma jumped into a new job, and that wasn't working well, and we were unhappy. And then we were like, I'm desperate. I got to get out of here. So we in trauma jumped. And so now we had 3 different jobs in the last 5 years, and we still not making no money and having no impact. We can't continue to do this. We can't continue to put ourselves in situations where we're trauma jumping all over the time. Like, we unhappy at work. You know what? I don't got time for this. I'm out of here. And then you get into a new job. I don't got time for this. I'm out of here. And you get into a new job. I don't have time. I'm not saying be loyal to these organizations. Let me be clear. I'm not saying you have to be loyal to the organizations. What I am saying, however, is that you have to have a strategy, right? We can no longer afford to be trauma jumping all over the world of work. It's too much money out here, and it's too many great employers out here for us to be trauma jumping and job searching out of desperation from job to job to job. Instead, right, I want to invite you into an opportunity to be more strategic about your career development. And what does more strategic mean? More strategic means is that you actually have a career development framework that's built on who you are and how you show up in the world. That's built on what you're good at. That's built on what you're not good at. That's built on what you value. And that will help you only identify roles that are going to pay you well, number one, that are going to pay you at the level you desire, and that are going to allow you to do fulfilling and meaningful work for communities that you care about. Right? You were desperate, so you just got into this job. And then you're like, I'm only going to be here for a year, but now you're there for 5 years. Right? We can no longer do that. We have to have a strategy, 80s babies. We got to have a roadmap. Y'all remember, we used to play Oregon Trail. We understand a map. We understand a map, so don't play with me here. I know y'all was playing Oregon Trail on that big block computer. I know you was, because I was. So don't act like you don't know what a roadmap is. Don't act like you don't know what it means to have a strategy. You know what it means to have a strategy. You just haven't committed to the investment required to get a strategy in your career to make more money and have more impact. But I'm calling you in today, baby. I'm calling calling you in and I'm inviting you to actually have a strategy for your career development so that we can see the $25,000, $30,000, $50,000, $80,000 salary increases that my mentees regularly see when they work with me through the accelerator. That's what the name of the game is now. No longer can 80s babies, can we do this haphazardly? No longer can we be working 2 and 3 jobs trying to make ends meet. No longer can we be relying on people to put us on and waiting to see what happens. We have to be proactive in our career. And I, as a mentor, am excited to help you do that. I invite you to apply to work with me right on my website at mentor-me.org. That's mentor-me.org. I'm accepting new mentees right now, and I'm excited to help you, 80s babies, use what you already have to get what you want. Remember, y'all already have degrees, credentials, certification, and years of service. Most 80 babies have somewhere between 8 and 15 years of working experience. I'm going to use that to help you make more money. Number 2, 80s babies, we have to have a roadmap. No longer can we be out here trauma jumping from job to job, from industry to industry, from employer to employer, and still be unhappy. Let's actually build a roadmap that's aligned with who you are, right? The jobs that you desire, the money that you desire to make, those are available to you. And you don't need another degree, another credential, another certification, or for you to wait till you go back to school to get it. The things that you desire in your life and your career are available for you right now, but it will require a career development strategy so that we can actually be intentional about the moves that we're making. We can no longer afford to be doing things kind of haphazardly and maybe trying to see what happened and waiting on somebody to put us on. We can't do that. Not us 80s babies. We have to have a strategy because we got kids to take care of. We got godchildren to take care of. We got bills to pay. We got vacations to go on. We have savings to invest in. We want to, begin planning stocks and bonds. Like, we need more money, right? If there's an 80s baby who's watching this live, or if you're watching on replay and you're making somewhere between $50,000 and $60,000 a year, it's time to work with me because you simply cannot afford to make so little money, right? You didn't just get in the game. You didn't just start your first job 6 weeks ago, right? Right? And Hannah and Stacey Lynn said some of us have parents to take care of, right? Our baby boomer parents, right? Our greatest generation parents are getting older. Our parents are in their 60s and 70s and 80s, right? Our grandparents, some of our grandparents are still alive and we're taking care of them. We don't, gas is high as heck. We don't even have enough money to be able to take grandma and Meemaw to their doctor's appointments. We need to make more money. And honestly, we need a job that allows us to be able to prioritize our family. We want to be at home for dinner. We don't have to work. We don't want to have to work 12 hours a day to make $50,000 a year. We shouldn't have to do that. We too old for that. We too old for that. At this point, we should be earning, anybody who's born in the 80s should be earning a minimum of $80,000. I'm just go ahead and flat out say it. If you were born between 1980 and 1989 and you're not making a minimum of $80,000 US dollars, then you're not making enough money at work, and it's time to work with a mentor. It's time to hire me. It's time for us to have a conversation about what you've been doing in your career up to this point and why you continue to stay stuck in roles that are not paying you for the value of your expertise. It's time for a serious conversation. I'm not calling you out. I'm calling you in. I'm calling you into some accountability. You are too old to be making so little money. Not given your skill sets, not given your expertise, not given the knowledge and skills that you have. Stacey Lynn said, flat out, I'm too old to be working this hard. I love it, right? Yeah, it's so funny. I don't know if she's still here. Shout out to my mentee, Kimmy. My mentee, Kimmy, was in my Mentor Me Accelerator. She just secured a $63,000 salary increase. Shout out to her. So proud of her. You can watch a live that she and I did to show her story. It's on my feed. Her name's Kimmy. And so I was talking with her recently and she's like, Ashley, it's just wild because I got this new job and I'm making so much money and my job is not hard. She was like, should I ask my boss for more work? Like, I don't know what to do. Like, I've been, it's not real hard. Like, they asked me to send an email here, put together a presentation here, but it ain't real. I ain't grinded at all. And I'm like, congratulations, right? You don't have to grind. You don't have to struggle. You don't have to be busting your butt, working 10, 12 hours a day, answering, being on call, going in early, staying late. You don't have to do that. My job as a mentor, just like I did with Kimmy, I can do with you to help you use the skills, knowledge, and expertise that you already have to make more money. And now Kimmy's trying to figure out, well, what else can I do with my time? I told her, girl, go skating, pick up knitting, go read a book. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying doing your work hours, but I'm saying, like, now that you have more freedom, now that you have more flexibility, now that you're actually being paid well for your expertise, and no longer do you have to be grinding and on your email every 5 seconds and can't take a walk and can't take a day off. Now you're just in the flow. Somebody's finally paying you well for your expertise, and you didn't have to grind or get it out the mud to get it. That's available to you. And that's what my job is as a mentor. To help high achieving professional women make more money and have more impact using the skills and knowledge and expertise that they already have. If that sounds like what you're looking for in mentorship, if that sounds like what you need at this point in your career, I invite you to apply to work with me today. You can do so right on my website at mentor-me.org. That's mentor-me.org. And I am so excited to help you. I'm so excited to help you position yourself as an expert using the skills that you already have to make more money and have more impact. Thank you so much for watching 80's Babies. If you benefited from today's conversation, make sure you hit that share button. I'm going to post this live on my feed. I want to see you share it and then apply today. I'm accepting 15 new mentees this month, and I'm excited to see you be one of them. Talk soon. Thanks for watching.